Now, so we're going to be doing some basic tools also that are mostly found in the several of our computer systems. You understand? So there are basically Microsoft Word, all right, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft PowerPoint. You understand? Okay. Yeah. Um. So in most of our computers or laptops, you know, Microsoft Word is always there, even by default, you understand? Though you can choose to, install like newer versions of the software. Okay. All right. So when you come to your computer, you just go to the start menu bar and look for Microsoft Word. All right. Yeah, or you can, get to this search bar and search for it. You just type Microsoft Word. So you can see I'm just here, and then it's already showing up here on my uh the results on the results area, understand? So this is the best match, Microsoft Word 2010. Okay. So this same Microsoft Word is what a lot of people call MS Word. All right. That's short form for Microsoft Word. Okay. So when you click on it, it opens. So Microsoft Word is a basic uh software or program or application for creating and editing text or Word documents. You understand? So this is basically how a Microsoft Word looks, and this is the text area. You can see the cursor that is blinking. This shows you that you're ready to type. When you start typing, it will be showing where the cursor is. Okay, you can see as I'm typing, it's showing where the cursor is. All right. And then when you hit your enter in the keyboard, it goes to the next line. You continue typing, you hit your enter, continue typing. Now on your keyboard, my caps lock is on. That's why you're seeing the letter in capital. So I can just put it off and hit enter. You can see it's now in the lower case or small letter as some may call. All right. Okay. So that is it basically. So you just use Microsoft Word for creating and editing documents. So now I've just created a document with these letters, you see, and then I can choose to edit them. Like I come to this point and start deleting. You see, I'm trying to edit this and then change the text to something else. You see that? Okay. So that is it. So now, so in this Microsoft Word, there are, so many tools that are here that it gets confusing to a lot of people. But we're going to just take them one by one, okay? They are not confusing. And we're going to take the relevant ones that you actually need, okay? So now here, um, let's start from the tabs. Now here, you have different tabs. You see, as I'm clicking on these tabs, the options here are changing depending on the tab that I select or I click on. All right, you can see all of this, all of this. Okay. So here, now first of all, you can see this file tab also. When you click on it, it opens this page. All right. Okay, now let's start with this file tab. So here we are on the file tab. Now, the main things that you need here, you can see this save button. You can see save as, open, close, and all of this stuff, print, save and send, So basically, the most of the thing that is being done in this file tab is to save, to open, and to close. You understand? You can also use it to create a new document, all of this. All right, so let's just take it step by step. Now, this first save is used when you have already created the document and the document exists in your computer. While this second save is used when you want to save the document for the first time. Okay. So like this new document that I created now, I just created it right now for the first time. Okay. So if I want to save it, I'll just go to file, click on save as. All right. When you click on save as, it will open up a dialog box. So it's opening, it's loading. You see that where it will want you to what enter the file name. You can just say my first document. All right. Okay. And then most of the time you don't go to this file type because it will be here by default as a Word document. All right. Now, the next thing is that you have to go to the location where you want it to be saved, or it will just save in documents by default. All right. So this document is the folder where this my first document is going to what get saved. All right. But if you have a specific document in your computer where you want this document to be saved, just go there. So you just locate where it is. So the document, the folder could be in desktop, it could be in documents, it could be in downloads, music, pictures, any of these folders, videos, you understand? So you see, as I'm clicking on the folders, it's changing here. All right. So now when you get to the document, maybe I assume I want to save it in this folder called Zoom. All right. So I'll just double click on Zoom and it will open. You see, Zoom has opened. Here tells you where you are. So I was in document before, now I'm in Zoom. You see that? Now, so since we want to save it here in this folder called Zoom, you just click on save. All right, the document has saved. Okay. Now, next time when I now want to save this document, because I've already saved it for the first time, I'll just click on this save and it will update the already saved document. That is it. Okay. Now, this save here, this is also an icon for save. It is still the same thing. Okay, when you click on it, it updates what you have saved. Or you can use a keyboard shortcut known as Control S. All right. Yeah, Control S. Okay. It will just save it. Yeah. All right. Okay, so that's about the save. Now, this open is used for opening Word document files from the application. Now we are already in the application and I want to open another document file, another Word document. I'll just click on this open. It will take me to the dialog box and now look for the Word document that I want to open. You can see we are seeing that one, this one that we already saved. So assuming there is any other Word documents, let me check if there's any other Word documents here that I can open here. Yeah, you can see this one, this document known as Christmas Carol in drama. So I just click on it and click on open, or I double click it and open. You see, now it has opened. You can see that. Now, if you get to this place, now I have two words open documents that I'm working on. The first one and this one that I just opened. And I opened it through this open icon here. Or you can just choose to go to wherever this document is in your window explorer and just double click on it and it will open also. So whichever one is your choice. Wow. All right. So now the next thing is so here now the next thing is new. When you click on new, all right, it's used for creating new documents. So most of the time we normally use a blank document, but here it's showing us templates. There are a lot of templates that you can, choose to create. You understand? It could be blog posts, research, whatever, depending on what you want to do. You understand? That will determine the the templates you will choose. You understand? Okay. So, but most of the time, a lot of us just go straight to, create a default that's a blank document. So when you click on blank and then you click on create, it will just create a blank document. You can see that here. All right. Okay, so that is it. Now, the next thing is this print. Okay. When you click on print, is used for what? Printing the document. Let me just close this new one I've opened and let me use this one. Okay. So when you click on print, it's used for printing the document. Can you see the preview? So the document is going to preview for you to print it. Okay. So if you have a printer connected in your system or your laptop, this is where it's going to be showing. Now you can pull down this option to see more of the printers. So all the printers for your laptop will be connected here, or your computer will be connected, will be showing here, all the connected printers. You understand? So you can choose to, select any printer you want to use for the printing. You understand? So this also prints this one also prints it to PDF. You understand? So when you click on it, it will just print it to PDF, after you're done. So here you can use it to select the settings. You can print all the pages, or you just want to print the current page, the current page that is showing, or you can print a custom range, whichever way you want to do it. All right. Yeah. You can also select as print one-sided, depending on the kind of printer you're making use of, or you can manually print on both sides. You understand? Means that it will print on the front and the back of the physical paper. Okay. So these are, several settings for the printing. There is a orientation, the portrait and the landscape. So here is in portrait. That's why it's straight, like a kind of vertical. And then if you click on landscape, you see it changes the orientation to landscape somehow, kind of horizontal. All right. Now here is where you select the paper size you want to print. Most of the time, we normally use a A4 size paper. You just click on A4, but depending on what you want to print and the paper you want to use to print it, you just check the right size here and select on it. Okay. Here you use it for the margin setting. So this is the normal margin. You can choose a narrow margin. When you click on it, you see the margin here reduced, you understand? So when you click on this, you see the margin is changing according to what you have here, all right? So here you can also choose to use a wider margin, you understand? So this wider margin here, when you just click on this one, yeah, when you just click on this one, it will just change the margin here for you. Yeah. So the margin changes, you understand, according to what you select here. Okay. So that is it about the printing, you understand. So other ones are, so these are the most of the things that you make use of in this under this file tab. Okay. All right. Now let me put it back to the orientation. Let me put it back to portraits. Okay. Portraits. Yeah. All right. Let's go back. Okay. Now the next tab is the home. Of course, most of the time it's always on the home by default when you just open the Word document. All right. Now this first group is called a clipboard. Okay. Now this is used for you can see the first option, cut, copy, and paste or format painter. Oh, all right. Now this cut is used to what? It's used for what? Removing text from a particular spot and transferring it to another place. For example, you can see this Control S. When I highlight it, okay, though there are a lot of keyboard shortcuts for that. Okay, now this Control S is for save. Okay, saving. Just say, let me get this. Okay, so this Control S here is for saving. Okay, now the chords here. Now let me just separate these. Let me just just separate this stuff. Yeah, these like words, you understand, into different words. Okay. Yeah, I don't mind the I'm not trying to create any document here now, understand? Yeah. Okay, so this is used for what? Saving. Okay, the shortcut for saving. All right. Now assuming I want this word, I want to take this word off from here to this location. All right. What I use is what? Cut. So what you do is what? Highlight this. How do you highlight? When you click on it, you drag until you cover the word you want to highlight, then you release it. Okay. Then you go to this cut, click on it. Now it has cut. Now when it cuts, you now go to where you want it to be. Eh? When you just put your cursor there, come here, click on paste. You see, and it will appear here. All right, that is about cut and paste. Now, but the next one is copy. All right. When I click here, okay, now we just did something here. Now, copies, when you highlight this one, click on copy. All right. Now get to this point, go back and click on paste. You see what happens? Thus, you see the difference. The difference is that cut will remove it from here and put it here, but copy will leave it here while it's pasted here. All right, so that is about copy and paste or cut and paste. And the keyboard shortcuts for all of these is Control X is for cut, okay, while Control C is for copy. Okay, copy, that's the keyboard shortcut. And then Control V, and then Control V. Let me just put it here because the keyboard is having some, yeah. So Control V here is for what? Paste. Okay. All right. So these are, the basic shortcuts that everybody should know, here in the computer. Control C, Control V, Control X, Control S, Control, understand? All right. So that is it about here. Now, next is this a format painter. Now, this format painter is used to replicate a style of a particular text to another text. Now, what it is used for copying the style of the text, and then use the style to what copy the style and then use it to change another text to take that style you copied. All right. So now let's do an example. Assuming I have here BOY boy, and I have here GIRL girl. Okay. You can see this. Oh, let me actually increase the zoom. Yeah, let me zoom in so that it will, be more visible. All right. Okay. So now here you have BOY boy, GIRL girl here. Now let's put some styles here. We are still gonna, talk about those styles here. So let me say that I made this a bold, and then I change the color to something, let's say red, something like that. And then you also add an underline, yeah. Now you see this boy is taking a certain style, but this girl is just normal, I didn't put any style here. Now, so this format painter is used for copying only the style and then brush it on top of those, and this will take the same style. So assuming you just saw a style and you don't know what they actually did to get this boy to appear like this BOY, all you just need to do, just highlight it like this. Okay, as I've shown you, click on format painter. Now it is on. You see, it is still highlighted. So while it is still highlighted, you come here, you can see this brush, this brush and the cursor. Click down and then brush it over the girl and release it. You see, so this girl just took the same style of the boy. All right, that's format painter. Okay, so it copies the format, and then when you paint it all over another text, it will take the shape of it. Now, so once you do one painting, it will go off, so you cannot do it again. For you to do it again, you have to highlight it again and click on the format again before you do it. Let's apply it here. I apply it on this. You see, now it has taken the shape. All right. Okay. Now the next one is the fonts. Okay. So this font is used for what? Styling the text, like you just saw me do now. So here you have a text like rice. So you just highlight it. This B is for bold. It makes it bolder. When you click on it, it comes on and makes the text bolder. This one is italic. You see, italicizes it. This one is underline when they are all on. And here, when you pull down this arrow, you can select the kind of underline you want. If you want a wavy underline, you can see it showing here. So you just play around with it however you want it. Okay. Now the next one is the font style. You understand? This is the font style. Okay. So anyone you select, the text is going to change according to what is showing you here. So let's just choose this one, Algerian. Yeah, you can see the font style have changed according to what we selected. Now, the next one is the font size. Now, it's here 11. Now, as you increase, the font size increases. For example, 24. Now, you see, nothing happened because of what I didn't select it. Now, I just highlighted it right now. Now, let's click on 24. You see, it has increased the font size. You can also choose to increase this much more. Okay. Now, next one is this font grow. You understand? When you click on it, it starts growing the font gradually. See, the more I click, the more it increases. The more I click, the more it increases. Why this one is what? The font what? Shrink. You understand? As I click on it, it's what? Be reducing. So however you want to do it, you do it that way. And then this one here is what? For changing the case. Now, when you click on it, it brings down the arrow. So what kind of case do you want? If you want a sentence case, or lowercase or uppercase. Now, this you mostly use it maybe where you have a lot of document, or for example, now this whole line. Let me just highlight this whole line, and here I can just change it to uppercase. Now they are all uppercase. Now you can see that, or back to lowercase. You see that, and then you can also use a toggle case. You understand? That to toggle case means to switch to the opposite case. That's toggle for you. All right, or you can use what? Sentence case. Now, sentence case means that every the first letter of the sentence will be in capital letter or in uppercase, while the rest are in lowercase. That's just a normal default sentence. You understand? Sentence structure. Okay. All right. So that is it. Now here is for what? Clearing the formatting. See, I just clicked on it and all the formatting that I did just cleared and it returned back to normal. All right. Now here is for what? Text effect. When you click here, you can choose to what? Add some effects to a text. For example, I just highlight on this rise. You see, as you are hovering over this, let me just increase the size so that it will be more visible. Yeah. So now as you're hovering this, it will be what? Previewing how it's going to look like. So when you get the one you like, you just click on it and it will take the shape, you understand, and take the form or the format. Okay. And then here is what? The highlight text color. You understand? You can just click on this and you know you see, when you paint over a text, it highlights it with that color. You can choose to, change the highlight color. I just selected a different highlight color. Okay, let me just select this one and then paint over this, and it will take the highlights. So it depends on what you want to do. Okay, and then this one is for what? The text color. All right. So, for example, this boy is red in color. I can change the color of the text to yellow. You see that? And then you can change it to any other color, green, as you want. Okay. Now, after this area, the next one is what? This paragraph. Oh, all right. Now, this paragraph, this first one is what we know as bullet points. All right. When you select a group of words, you can what? Click on this and it will add bullet points to it. Maybe you want to make a list, you understand? Or when you can select them back, you can, put them as number. Okay. Or here you can just put them as, these are category, you understand? So you can use a maybe like a 1A, for example. When you put this one here, you can choose like when you click on enter, this will be 2. But when you tab, it will go inside, you understand, as a bullet, you understand? Then you type something, you understand? Or you can just choose this next one here, A, B, or C. You understand? So however you want to format it, that is up to you. All right. Now the next one is all is the what we know as the alignment. There is a left alignment for the text. There is center alignment. See, when you click on it, it centers the text at the middle of the page. And then there is right alignment. Okay, it positions the text towards the right, aligns it towards the right. Or this one here is known as what? Justify. It's what occupies the whole space. That it tends to maximize the space that you have in the page. All right. Okay. Now this one is what? The line spacing. It controls the spaces between the lines. All right. So if I highlight all of this now, and you know, you see, as you hover on the line space, it previews. Okay. Right now it's currently at 1.15. So when you click on 1, this is the list. Here, 3, it becomes larger, 2.52. So it shows the spaces between the lines, all right? So you can choose to adjust that. Okay. Now, next one is you can see this thing colors, and it's used for what? Coloring the background, for example. Now, this you can see how this is highlighted. Okay. Now I click on choose any color. It's what colors the surrounding, that is what we know as the background of the text that is you've highlighted, you understand? So when I choose any of this, it will just take the color, understand? So I just click on this and you see this area takes the color. All right. Okay, let's just put it back. Now there are two important things, icons here. You can see I showed that this one is save. Now this arrow is undo. Now it is used for what? Undoing your last action. That is from the last action to the previous last action to the previous last action to the previous last action. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. So now you see this thing that I just did. I click on undo. You see, it returned back how my document, how it was before I perform the last action. Now there are also other last action that I just did. When I click on undo again, it will return it back to that last one. When you keep clicking, it will just keep undoing. You can see, I'm sure you can actually recognize these actions when we are doing them. So it will keep undoing until you get to the last part or the last action you did on the text. So I just keep clicking. Oh, now this one is also for redo. That if you want to get back to where you are again, so you just keep on clicking redo, redo, until you get to where you are. You see where we are, where this blue highlight came. All right. Okay, so let's just undo once so that we get rid of the blue highlights. All right. Now these are different styles, maybe you want to start a document, you can just choose a style, a font theme and style to start with. You understand? So you can just select all of this, you see, when you hover over it, it just gives you a certain style that has already been set. So this one looks good. So you just click on it and the document, you see, takes the shape or the styling that you've selected. You can also pull down this to see more of the stylings. You understand? Okay. So here you can also, change the styles, change their colors, do a whole lot of stuff with them. Now, next one here is find, replace, select. Now, this find and replace is used for, maybe you have a large document, you understand? So here you can, you navigate, because once you click on this find, it will just pop up this navigation bar, okay? And then you can use it to browse the page in the document, you understand, and get the results, from your search. For example, let me just search something. You see, so as I'm typing, it is going to where to the text that or the words that matches what I'm typing. You see, so BOY just went and highlighted it for me. So if there are a lot of BOYs here, it will keep highlighting all of them. You understand? So it is now up to me to get to the one I want. Okay. All right. So here, for example, let me just do something else. CO. Okay. Now CO here, I have only one instance of CO. Okay. Let's just say C. I have a lot of instances of C. You see, so all the instances are showing here. C is here, is here. You see, it's highlighting all of them. C, 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 C. You see all of this stuff. So depending on the one you want, you understand? So it is showing where they are existing. You see, so when you click on this, it will just take it up, take you to where it is. You understand? Or you select this one, it will take you to where it is. Select this one, rise. It will take you to where it is. You understand? So it helps you to search a assuming you have a very long document that has so much words, it helps you to search that. You understand? And then when you click on replace, it also have this toggle. You can use it to replace whatever you want to replace. Maybe you have a lot of them. For example, I have here, it's saying find what and replace with. So I have BOY here, and I want to replace it. First of all, let me say find. You see? Uh, sorry, let's just skip this one. All right. So now I want to find BOY, okay? Then when I come to this replace, if you still click it, it will still find the BOY now. But it's already finding only one search. So that's why it's saying Word has finished the search of the searching document. You understand? So you just say, okay. So it means that what I found is just one. So let me just say find next now. It will highlight it. Then replace with what? With man. MAN. You understand? So if I click on replace now, it will replace BOY with man. Now here, um, when I did find, assuming there are a lot of BOYs in my documents, this find will highlight them. Now, when I now type in man, I want to replace, I have two options. Either to replace the current highlighted one, I will click on this, or if I want to replace anything BOY in the whole document, I'll just click on replace, or I will replace all of them with MAN, man. So in making use of this, you have to be careful. You actually know what you want to do. Okay. So when I click on, let me just choose one, replace, or yeah, it will just replace. See, the Word has completed its search of the document and has made one replacement. You understand? So if there are 100 replacements, if you have done 100 replacements, okay. All right. Okay, so that is about your find and replace. Okay. Now, next we're going to move to the next tab, which is insert tab. All right. Now, this insert is simply used for just inserting things, as the name implies. Let's just close this one and let's zoom in or zoom out, I mean. All right. So now this insert tab is just used for insert, as the name implies. So you can insert anything into your document, a whole lot of stuff. Now let's start with this cover page. You can insert cover page. So I just click on the cover page and it gives me some samples of cover pages. Maybe you have some documents or proposal you want to do and you want to make a cover page. Just click on one of this and it will insert a cover page. You can see. So now this cover page, you can then edit it to your taste. Type the title of the document. So you can say proposal for whatever website for websites building. All right. And then you can just edit this text to other stuffs you want. So it's like a cover page. Then you can now start writing your proposal. All right. Okay, let's just take it out by doing undo, undo, undo. Okay. Then you can also insert what a blank page. So when I click on insert blank page, see a new page just came in. Now you can also insert what is known as page break. Page break simply means now from here, you just click on page break and it will enter this next text where the cursor, you see, let me just undo it. Let me just do that again so that you just see. See, this is where my cursor is at the moment. Now I insert page break, means that every word or letter after this cursor is going to be moved to a new page. All right, so I click on page break. You see, that's just what happened now. Why the rest remain here? Okay, let's just undo. Now this is table. If you want to insert a table, wow, this is how to do that. So let's just come here and click on the table. Now here, as you are hovering, it will be previewing. So depending on the rows and the columns you want, you can see how it's doing. You understand? Yeah, can really draw a lot of tables with this. So just when you get to where you want to stop, you just stop. So let's say I want to stop here, I just click and it's already inserted. So now you can start, writing on your table. These are, depending on what you want to write. Then after that, you get to the next row, say, depending on what you want to do with your table. So it's really easy and very nice to work with a table. All right. And then when you select a table, it brings out an extra tab, which you can use for changing the design of the table, how you want it to look like, most of the time. Yeah, a lot of people don't actually make use of it, but if you just want to beautify it, this is what it's going to be. All right. Okay. Now you see my text is, appearing like this because of the previous setting that I am taking from here. You understand? Okay, so you can actually choose a normal word text. For example, then you come here and see it's normal here. So let's just insert our table here. Just insert the table and now you see everything looks normal here. So I'm using my tab to move to the next column. All right. When I get to the tab. So depending on what you want to do, you make use of that on your table. All right. So back to the insert. Now this one is picture. Wow. When you click on it, it opens up a dialog box. Then you can search for the picture in your computer, wherever a picture is. Even okay, I have one picture here. Just click on it and say insert or double click it and it will come inside. See, now the picture is going to come inside where your cursor is. It's because I have my cursor inside this table. That's why this picture is here. All right. So I can choose to delete that. And if I put my cursor here, just take this one out of the table. Yeah. Okay, so if I put my cursor here and click on insert, it's going to come to where the cursor is. You can see that. So this is my picture. All right. Here you can resize it, from those areas. You can resize it to what you want. Okay. Now, you can also insert a clip art, you understand? But I don't want to bore you with that one now because most of the time, you may not write all the time, you understand? So let's just proceed to shapes. So shapes, wow, so much shapes, man. You can insert any kind of shape you want. So when you just click on the shape, when you just click on the shape, click on it and then click here, drag and just hold your mouse and start dragging to whichever size you want. Just leave it. Then you can still resize it back or forth. And then you can, change the colors. You can play around with the shape. So once it is open here, once it's highlighted here, a new tab just comes up for you to format the shape, either to change the color, do a whole lot of stuff. You can even change the shape somehow. You see, I'm just putting out this yellow handle See. All right. So that's it about uh the shape. So you can also insert charts, a whole lot of stuff. When you click on this bar chart and click on OK, it will load the chart. Now it's loading and it will loading. Yeah. See, so the charts have been inserted in my Word document, but it opened an Excel file, which I will use to control the data of the chart. Okay. All right. So you can just play around with it. So let me just close it back. Okay. And delete the charts. Okay, so now this one screenshots, hyperlink, bookmarks, a whole lot of stuff. Now for this hyperlink, you can just use, a hyperlink simply means a text that takes you to a web page. You understand? For example, let me just click here. Let's just make a text here. Maybe you're writing a document and you just wrote something. Okay. To to make a research, you need to go to Google. You need to go to Google. All right. Now, this Google, I want to make it a hyper what? A hyperlink. Or yeah. So now, when I click on this hyperlink, all right, I already highlighted it. That's why the text to display is showing here as Google. Now, I'll put in the address that I want to get to. So we all know the Google address as what? HTTPS. Let me put it in small letter. HTTP, HTTPS, okay, google.com. I'll say okay. You see, now it has highlighted. Now, so which means for me to click on this, when I just hold down my control and click on it, it's going to open what? Google for me. All right. So now let's see. You see, now Google is opening my browser. Wow. Okay. So let's go back to the Word document. Okay. So here you can also bookmark, do cross-reference, a whole lot of stuff. So this is about your Microsoft Word. There's so much you can do with it. You can also insert a text box. So I just inserted one simple text box so that you can type something in it, and that's a text box that you can actually type whatever you want in it apart from the document you're working on. You see, which you can drag and drop anywhere inside the document. You can see that. Okay. There's also word art. You click on word art, insert word art. Let me just click it here. Now you click this and it's inserted here. So you can just use it to beautify your text or your documents, depending on how you want it to be. Okay. So that's about all of this stuff. So there's so much you can do with Microsoft Word in terms of document processing. Okay. Now there is also this drop cap. You can just highlight a text, a group of text like this, and just select a drop cap for it. I'm sure we must be familiar with things like this. When you hover on it, you can see how it shows here. So let me just select this one, drop cap, and it will show like this. The first letter, shows so bold. Yeah. And then this one is for symbols, okay? So when you click on this, you can use it to, insert equations, I just click on this and a whole lot of stuffs are here. Oh boy, yeah. And if you want symbols, so let me just go back. Insert. If you want symbols, you can click on this one. So you can even click on more symbols, then they'll all open here. Now you just go to where you want, whatever symbol you want. If you want this, just click on it and click on insert. And it's going to insert to where your cursor is. You can see this is where my cursor is. That's why the symbol inserted here. All right. Okay, so that's it. So then the page layout is about the page settings. So most of the thing you do here, you can come here, margin, you can set the orientation here, landscape or portrait. You can select the page size you want to work on. You can also select the kind of column, if it's single column or double column. See, I've just selected double column and two of them split it into two columns. All right. Yeah. So you can also insert page breaks, line numberings. This one is none, or you can say continuous. All right. So it just keeps numbering all the lines that you ever create. You understand? Yeah. So all of this, you can just turn it off. So a whole lot of stuff you can do. Next is your watermark. Now, watermark is something that you might use to prevent copyright, So you can just click anyone you want, you understand? And it comes to your page. You can see that do not copy. So you can actually customize this text. So let's get back to the watermark. And we say custom watermark. Okay. So here that you say do not copy, just write it to your own. My company or the name of your company or whatever. Just click on apply and click on once it applies, it's already showing. You can see that my company. So you can just use it. Okay. Then you can also choose a page color. You can change the color of your page to whatever you want. You understand? All right. Now this is page borders. You can insert border. This one is none. This is a box border, or this one 3D. Let's just use this. Okay. You see, this we have a border here. All right. You can even scroll down to choose other kinds of borders, custom borders, you can be selecting the styles here, you understand? And how it's going to happen, both the colors, let me just choose red here. And just whatever you want to do, click on it. Oh, I didn't apply that. When you finish, just meanwhile, let me just remove this color so that it will be more visible. Page color back to white and then border. So let's just choose one nice border. Maybe should I choose a custom? Yeah, something okay. Something like this looks good. And then you can click on OK. And then now the thickness is so small, so I need to increase the width. Let me increase the width to this. Okay. And then let me just select. Yeah, there is this border I want to use. This art. Most of all, we were making use of all of this thing back then in our CVs, or in some certain document. You can see something like this. So you can just play around with it, however you want. All right. Okay. So let's just undo to take it out. All right, take out this one as well. Okay. So that is it. So now this about your indents, most of the time you just allow your document to, breathe like this. You don't necessarily have to adjust all of those stuffs here. You understand? So next tab is a reference. If you want to, do a table of content for maybe you have a whole large document, you can actually generate a table of content for it. Let me just click on this one. Now, meanwhile, let me just go back to the normal. I was in double column. Let me just keep it back to your hand normal column, single column. You see? So I just generated a table of contents here for these documents. You see? So depending on the kind of documents you have, it will show and give you some numberings and some titles. You understand? And you can actually choose to edit them. You understand, as you want. Okay, and just write some stuffs here. So it's actually giving you a format to start with. You understand? Okay. So that is it basically about your, Word, that's a Microsoft Word, you understand? So all of these are, features that you don't necessarily make use of, most of the time, you understand? There's also translate, you understand? And language translation, they'll say translate this document to Arabic and all of this stuff, and you say okay. You see an error occur because now the SSL.translator user.net is offline. So do you want to continue? You can say don't send, or you can, it will just send the document, or it will just send an email. You understand? So you see, it's opening up the Internet Explorer for me to start sending email. You understand? So, but I don't want to go through all of this stuff, you know. So just close up this, close all tabs. Yeah. All right. So here, this is word count. When you click on this, it shows you all the statistics of your document. So it shows you how many lines you have, how many paragraphs, how many characters with space and character with no space, and words, how many words and how many pages. Wow. So nice. All right. And then this is spelling or grammar check. Wow, this is where you do your spelling check. So it will be detecting all the wrong spellings, you understand, and will give you suggestions to what be correcting all of them. Okay. All right. So that is it. And then about this view tab, it just talks about the layout and how this document appears. You can view, change the view to a screen view, you understand? And then you can also click on escape to take it back, or you can choose a web layout, but most of the time, it's just on this print layout is okay. All right. So that is it about your Word document. So you can zoom in and out from here. All right. And then you can, get back to that full screen reading that we are from those short calls that are here. All right. And then in your Word document here, it previews, shows you how many, a brief statistics. It tells you how many words that are already in your document and page, the number of pages and the current page that you are, in the Word document. So that is it about your Microsoft Word. It is very interesting and very easy to make use of. All right.